Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BGG Show for 2024. We're back, finally. We just got, we had been away for a while because everybody was busy. We all went to Spiel, basically, I think, and then between Spiel and BGG Con, Nikki and I had nothing, but everybody else seemed to be really busy. What all was going on with you guys?
Well, I went to, right after Spiel, I went to GMT's Weekend at the Warehouse, and then I went to San Diego History Con, and those both were like really great. Like GMT is a little smaller and I would say like very chill, pretty intimate, because I think there are only about like maybe 70 to 100 people that attend.
Right.
And it was my first time attending San Diego History Con in person. And that was really cool because it was like, again, it's another small event, but the concentration of people from all walks of the industry that were there. Like I finally met Dan Thoreau, who, you know, is known as Space Biff, writes like such really cool board game reviews. There were a lot of designers there. And I got to play a celebrity Liberty or Death game where Liberty or Death is one of the coin games. And Harold Buchanan, the designer and one of the main hosts of this convention, has this like blown up version with minis. So I teamed up with Cole Worley, and then I think Harold was on his own. And then Alexander and Grant from the Players Aid were one team. Liz Davidson was there. David Thompson was there. So it was a really cool, chill environment. Great to get to know some of those people more. Lots of people had prototypes and everything. And I played Arcs for the first time, which I'm very excited about. That's coming out this year from Leader Games. But yeah, and then I had BGG Con, and then I did PAX Unplugged.
Yeah, I know. And, you had a very busy 2 months there.
It was very busy. What about you guys?
And that's where I saw Candice at every one of these things, including PAX Unplugged. That's where I did, and I came directly out of BGG Con almost to go there. By the way, at BGG Con, which was amazing, played 3 games of War of the Ring. I just got to mention that. And Candice is the only one that I did not get a chance to sit down and play with. We tried. We tried hard.
Bonacor, I didn't want to whoop you. Like I was like, I think he's having a fun time at this convention, so I don't want to like embarrass him.
Yeah.
Moving right along from that.
Probably true.
PAX Unplugged. It's not true. PAX Unplugged was also an amazing convention, and Candice, I'm sure, is going to say the same kind of thing. Huge now. I mean, it's just gotten so big. Their attendance is now easily making it, the second largest it already been. But my unnamed sources were telling me they were in the low 30,000s. So and the energy there was crazy, and the crowds were pretty just amazing. It wasn't like, dangerous, crazy, like you can't move crowds, but the energy of the whole place was just really good. The socializing afterwards is great at the different industry events and things. So that's it. And now I'm now kind of in your space, Lincoln. I've been on the bench, just kind of doing a little social media stuff, uploading videos and stuff for the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel, and for 5 weeks at home, which is the longest stretch of time me being home since the second quarter of 2023. So it's kind of been good to chill out a little bit.
For sure. It's nice to be able to not go too crazy and travel, especially during the holidays. We were looking forward to trying to enjoy it this year, and Nikki did all the decorating, and I mean, I helped her, but not as much. She went really crazy, but it was great. She was feeling a little bad, like she overdid. I'm like, I love it, so don't worry about it. It was really nice, and it looked great, and it was nice having people over, and we played some games and things like that. Eric, what'd you do? Did you do anything special?
No.
No, he just took it easy. Boy, Eric, he's very excited. Well, we didn't film.
I came home and I worked and walked around in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we didn't film anything in December besides some live streaming, but we did do all those Christmas videos, which is way more work than you think it's going to be, doing 24 of those. But it was still really fun, and people were enjoying them, which is cool. But anybody play anything special besides War of the Ring?
Oh, I certainly did. I mean, go ahead, Eric. You didn't talk much.
No.
Yeah, go. Please, Eric.
I here, I'll pull out one thing. I don't know if we're getting into games we played already. That's right. So Die Paten. So it's essentially Die Paten is German for the godmother, right? So Die Pates is godfather,
right?
Godmother. You're all animal tribes here, trying to control territory. You can see I packaged this game exactly as I planned.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Everything's loose inside.
Just scrape everything right into the box.
That is correct. So you are all controlling. You start controlling a little bit of area in this town here, and you have to expand and take over other things and push people out. And you've got little rat minions that are determining control. And it's a fantastically old school, brutal game where you are just trying to crush other people and knock out their space. The game lasts 5 rounds, and you'll score for various things, but at the end of each round, you can score for one of the overriding missions. And there's 5 overriding missions. You score one in the first round, it's 1 point, and then 2 points and 3 points. But once you score one, you can't do it again. So it forces you to go wide and go deep and spread around and take over other things. And so it's pushing you in all these different directions. And I played once with 3 people, once with 4, and it's way harder with 4 just because you need a clear majority to get those missions. So more people, it's harder to get the territory and the minions on the manholes. It's
cool.
It's really good. It's weird just because
it's a strategy game from Zoc, though, huh?
Yeah, it's the first strategy game from Zoc in years.
Yeah,
it's pretty involved. It does not fit the Zoc thing other than having animals on it. I mean, because usually their stuff is not super mean, but this is like you really just have to play mean.
Interesting.
I don't think I've heard of Zoc before. What else? What other?
Oh yeah,
games?
you have. They are the. There are a lot of the wooden games. They did Bambaleo. They did. That's the balancing platter. That they did. What's the one?
Niagara has the rushing river of tiles where gems are falling off.
What was the cooperative Villa Paletti?
Is it a
Manara? Recent one that's great. Recent being probably 7 years ago or something like that.
Right, Manara, you're trying to balance little platforms. You go up here.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, they're
everything
great.
For theirs is usually like animals. It's got Doris Mathis art. It has poop. There's like consistent things all the time with Zoc games.
Was Los Momfos theirs as well? That's an old one, but that's Stefan Dora or something like that, right? But I love that one. It's too funny because it's donkeys pooping. Yeah, what did you play? Anything? Did you play anything special this last few months, Stephen? Besides, as I said, War of the Ring.
Yes. So for the holiday season, Paula and I got the Exit game, the Advent Calendar Exit game.
The new one?
Cosmos. The new one.
Yeah, we haven't played that yet.
I forgot what it was called even.
It's
the Silent Storm. Silent Storm. And it's all about sort of a silent storm. Okay. And it was excellent. I mean, they always are. They always are really good. And we're very bad though. We'll never start on December 1st, and we'll never. We'll literally play like 5 games. Yeah, we'll play like 5 games on one night and then stop for many nights. We'll never be ahead. We'll always be a little behind. I mean, it started while we were at PAX, right? December 1st, so I wasn't going to start then. So it was excellent. They always are good. I think it's a really nice thing for families to play with their kids. I mean, kids won't get it at age 6, but 8 to 10 and 12s. I think it's a great thing to do. So the two of us have done this last 2 years and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the other one, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say that was what we did for the 24 videos for Christmas. We did last year's The Search for the Golden Book, and we did not do any in December. We started filming them in September, so we were really ahead of the game. So we're really ahead. We were done before the month started. Anyway, I'm sorry, Stephen. Go ahead.
That's not a problem. And the other game we played to completion, it's something we've talked about here already. It's Ticket to Ride Legacy, Legends of the West. I had played the first game at Gen Con with the designers, and it was interesting, and I loved the fact that it just explains the game. And then Paula and I sat down and we played all 12 of the games, and it's actually sitting right here on my table right now. I cleaned it up. And then we played one more to see how the game would play once we were done, because now you have a completely unique version of this game. No longer Legacy, of course,
right?
But now you can play the game as you completed it. You have to take out some rules, and they modify a little bit of rules. There's been a little bit of some people saying that the game doesn't have a huge story arc the way that many Legacy games do. However, this game has a huge mechanics arc. The mechanics change literally in each game, or at least one new mechanic is added in each game. Occasionally one is subtracted, but you're playing something pretty darn big, not crazy big, but much bigger than the first game you play of this game by the time you're playing in the 10th and 11th and 12th game. So we really enjoyed it. Kudos to Alan Moon, Rob Davio, Matt Leacock for this game and taking a great system and just going through and developing it into a Legacy game. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we only played the 3 on the show. Everybody's asking us to do more, and Days of Wonder said, please only do 3, which is fine because it was more complicated than you think, even though we didn't get to any of the true complications. After 3 is when things start to really change.
Yes.
But it's still really fun and lots of really cool things happening. And we committed to trying to play it for fun after that, but we have not gotten to it. We did, anyway, let's go to Candice for a moment, and then I'll come back to this. I have a few games in front of me. Anyway, go ahead, Candice.
Eric has a comment first.
Wait, I want to interject here. Just talking about Exit. There was a German documentary about games recently, and Inka and Marcus Brand were guests on there.
It's a great documentary. They filmed here for us, but they didn't use it.
Right. They mentioned in there that Exit, the line Exit, has now sold 40 million copies.
Yeah, bigger than Monopoly and Uno or something like that in Germany. Was it Uno?
That's amazing.
It's just
that's great to hear.
Wow.
So there is no question there will be more, right?
Oh yeah.
That's just if you like it. It's
great though. I mean, we always do 1 year. So it's actually 2 years ago. So there was a new one this year. There was a Hollywood themed one that will be in English next year, and then we won't get to it for 2 years on our show because we don't want to spoil it too much. And a lot of people have fun seeing how we do compared to them. Some of them, we had a couple of tough challenges. One that was ignored what somebody, well, they didn't ignore what I said, but later on they're like, oh, you were right. And I'm like, because I can't see this stuff. A lot of this stuff happens on other places on the table, but I'm like, well, what about the color? And then But the other one was like all of us, because I think we were being too literal, and I guess everybody was screaming at the screen as we were having troubles with it, but it's awesome. Anyway, Candice, let's go back to you.
So at BGG Con, Derek, our very own Derek Porter,
got you addicted?
Got me addicted to Keyforge. Yeah. So Derek and I have been talking about, I think for like at least the past year, we've been like, Derek will, we see each other usually at both, BGG Spring and BGG Con, and he's like, I'm going to bring some Keyforge decks. Okay. And then we just never get to it. And this time we got to it. And let me tell you, I can't remember if it was November 14th, but that I played the first game and we couldn't even finish the whole game. And then we played another game with my Matt. So Derek, we wanted to show Matt also. And I just love this game so much. And there's not a day that's gone by since then that I haven't wanted to play it, thought about it. I have now, bought a bunch of decks. I've, learned a lot. I'm listening to Keyforge podcasts before I go to sleep. I am just so hooked in because I think I've always loved these card, 2-player card dueling games. And a lot of them, I like Ashes Reborn, I like Flesh and Blood. A lot of them, your goal is to just kill the other person. Let me get your life points down to 0. Now, don't get me wrong. In Flesh and Blood, it does it so cool, and it's such the gameplay is so awesome. So that I don't not like that. But what I like more is Keyforge, where you are collecting this resource called Amber, and then you're trying to race each other to be the first to forge 3 keys. And there are all these different houses that all have these different play styles, and each of your decks, you know, I mean, most people know about Keyforge because it's been around since like 2018 or so, but it's a Richard Garfield game, and the hook is that every deck is unique. So it kind of was designed to break that pattern of, I guess, people who play Magic the Gathering, you find out somebody has this great deck, and then you're like, let me buy all those cards, and I'm going to play that same deck. No, every deck is unique. So the whole challenge of it is trying to find the best way to play your deck against other decks. And each deck will have 3 different houses. I think there are maybe 10 houses at this point, maybe. And it'll have 12 cards of each. And it's just so fun. It's like casual, but interesting. There's a little humor in some of the art and the cards. And I don't know. I just love it. And so, yeah, Keyforge is my jam at this point. So thank you, Derek, for finally sitting me down to play it.
And I apologize to Derek for not sitting down and playing with him, because we were trying to sit down and play it, and well, Candice didn't play War of the Ring with me, and then Derek, I was supposed to play with him, but I didn't get a chance.
Well, you were busy. We had meetings scheduled with you, and things were delayed, and you were very busy. So it can't. Obviously, it can't be helped.
There was, when Keyforge was announced, Richard Garfield likened the game to you being the jockey, and you were riding a horse. You don't get to change the parts of the horse. You got to learn how to use that horse.
Right.
Yeah.
The best you can.
Play that horse, but ride that horse to the best of your ability and its ability.
Yeah,
sure.
It's super fascinating, and it sounds like I'm getting in right at the right time, because, you know, the algorithm broke, and then everybody's like, Keyforge is dead a couple years ago. And then Christian Peterson started Ghost Galaxy, got the license, and, you know, Winds of Exchange is the set that just dropped in, I think it was October. So now there's another one, Grimmer Reminders, coming out in March. There's another one targeted for next fall, like this fall, now that we're in 2024. But yeah, so it sounds like I'm jumping in at the right time as it's coming back. And yeah, very cool. Very cool mechanism.
I'm looking forward to the one from Reggie Bonizet or whatever, Eric, that you talked about a while ago. Is that coming? Huh?
Altered is the name of it.
I'm looking forward to that one too. Kind of a similar, not similar though, but a kind of individual deck thing.
Yes, I mean you can make your own deck. You can make someone else's deck,
right?
And do that. But more importantly, you can also just buy cards that you want if you want to do that. But along the lines of what Candice is saying, it's not a kill the opponent game.
Right.
You have 2 figures on a landscape and you want them to meet. And they could be in the middle, on one side, the other, whatever it is. So you're trying to figure out how to do that. So it's a different approach to,
cool.
you know.
Yeah,
it's exciting
exploration instead of
plus that you can borrow a deck or something, like you can borrow somebody's deck through a QR code or something like that. That's interesting too.
Right. So every card is a QR code, and you can scan it and you can put it into your collection. And then I can digitally just be like, hey, Candice is going to borrow this deck that's all set up. Whoop. And then she can print her own copy of that. And while I lend it to her, she officially has ownership of it and can use it in a tournament.
Neat.
I can't use it in the tournament because technically my copy isn't in my hands. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a weird concept, and we'll see how much people buy into like scanning every single card in existence.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
worrying about all that.
I think the other thing that I like for me about Keyforge is that I've never been good at deck building. So whether it's Arkham Horror, like Lord of the Rings, when I was playing Flesh and Blood, I would look up other people's decks and like say, oh, I'm going to put these similar cards and maybe try to. So like that's not a strength of me. It's not something I enjoy, probably because it's not a strength at this point. So that's why I love like Keyforge. That's just like, take this deck and play it. Now I will say last year they introduced the Alliance format, where now you can take multiple decks from the same set and take the pods, like the houses, and kind of create your own. Like there's a little construction there they introduced, and some people are loving that. And I'm like, so that's kind of like introducing some of that deck construction into Keyforge. But ultimately, I don't know if that was what Keyforge was designed to be, but it's cool that there's that option if people want to explore it like that. So
that's cool.
I'll get there eventually. Right now, I'm just like enjoying learning the cards, and it's super.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, Magic's a lifetime game. Like,
lifestyle game. Yeah,
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we've been on a Reiner Knizia kick. We played, obviously, I was talking about earlier to the guys, we played the Pick a Pen, which is Amigo's going to be putting out soon in Europe and then in the United States, end of March, April. It's a roll and write, but you're rolling the pencils. The pencils are the dice. And, I mean, it's a gimmick, but I love it. Nikki, as soon as she saw it, she's like, I'm in. But you roll them and they have 6 values, 2 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And you roll them and then each player takes one of the pens and fills in on the player board, the player paper here. I've got none that are clear here. I've got to have one.
You showed the examples. That's good.
Yeah, it's true. And so you're filling in the section based on, I think this is the one I did, one of the ones we played on the stream the other day. And you're looking to fill in the areas on the board in groups. So there's like a 2 here and a 3 size one. When you fill those up, then you fill the first one that you fill up, you get 2 points for it in that color. And then the next one you do is 3, and then the next one you get is 4. And then if you get all of the 2s in each of the colors at the end, you're going to get a 10-point bonus. And if you fill all the 3s, you get a 15, 20s. There's also Beautiful Garden, I think is what they call it. And that's where you get 5 different colors in a size 6 or higher on this map. There are other ones that have different sizes. But it's this weird, it's a typical Knizia thing where you want to do more than you can do. And you have lots, there's contradicting goals. And so you're like, I want to really fill in, I would love to go for all the color, the Beautiful Gardens, and you can only do 5. And if you get all 5, you get 30 points. So it's 30 plus 30, right? So it's really cool. There's also finishing the whoever gets all of the outside hexagons filled gets a 6-point bonus. Whoever fills the whole board, which ends the game, gets a 6-point bonus. And whoever has the largest group of one color gets a 6-point bonus. There's also these minuses down below. So you whenever you don't use a pencil, you X out that spot. And then that will be how many you subtract at the end of the game. Whoever fills up all 5 of these where it's -6, then that also ends the game. The other ones are really cool too. They actually have, so one of them is you're decrypting something, I think, and then the other one is you're diving, and that's segments. The other one, the decrypting one, is symbols or cryptography or something. I'm not sure. But it's really, really cool. And we actually, we played our friend Krzysztof Szlawiński, and of course he's really good. And so he understood the game, and we just got completely wiped out. Then we played it again. I wasn't tired this time, and I understood the rules, and I really like it. And there's a lot of really more to it than I really grasped initially. Plus, I think I was playing it incorrectly. I wasn't playing it incorrectly. I thought we were, because Nikki was coloring like multiple, as long as the colors were connected, but you can't. When you color in, all the ones need to connect to a previous connection, whatever color, but they all have to touch each other. And Nikki was kind of cheating it there. We also played, which I don't have with me, Dice Gang, which is a Korean publication from Knizia that has a little bit of feel.
Gang of Dice?
Gang of Dice, yeah.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a feel of high score, where you can't do these things or you must do these things on these cards, which I really liked. That you probably played it with Mike, right, Nikolov?
No, I haven't played it with Mike. Some of my friends that go to BGG Con that live in Texas that like trick-taking games and they're obsessed with Reiner Knizia, they introduced it to me.
Yeah, well, it's great, and I would like to get one. So then the other one we played was Mlem. And we've got the cat in Eric's view over there. Maybe the cat will like this. But this is Mlem Space Agency. It's a new one from Rebel. And, hey, kitty, you can be an astronaut. And it has this great element where you are trying to go as far as you can on each expedition. And the game lasts as long as you have tokens. So whoever goes out first ends the game. But if you don't make it, you explode. That part I don't quite understand. But then you go back, you get your token back, and then you start again. And what's really cool is it has this element where there are what they call afterburner icons, and these dice are literally just normally ones. But if you get them, sometimes their values are 2 or 3. And the great thing is when you use those, they go back in your pool. But anything that other than those you use go out. So you start with 6 dice, and you dwindle down until you run out of dice. And you want to go as far as you can because the values are great up here, but it's very unlikely you're going to make it, but you never know. We had some really fantastic rolls where we got like the 2. We rolled 4 of the afterburners when it was a value 2, so we moved to 8 spaces. You can also combine other dice with it, but you have to use all the dice in the pool. So the goal is obviously, for me, is to use the reusable ones as much as you can, and then the others. But the other real trick is there's only certain values in each location. So sometimes ones are valuable, but sometimes they're not. They're 0 value. You can't use them at all. And so, like one of the further ones was like a 3 and a 4, and it was like so only 2 and 4. When only 2 and 4 is a value, will let you continue. If you explode, you fail. But some of the tokens you have let you have a 1 value die that you use it once and then that's it. There's others that double your value of planets that you land on or double your values of the moons. Then there's some goals to reach where if you have some of your tokens on 4 different planets, you get a 5-point bonus. If you have it on 3 different moons, you get a 5-point bonus. If you get it on 3 on 1 planet. And then there's also the values on the planets are different. You score all the moon ones when you get them, but the planet ones, it's whoever has the most, whoever was there first, and then whoever has the most will get the highest value, then the next value. It's really great. So this one's coming really soon. I think it's like this week. And then we also played Comet from Peter Prinz, who Scott was the one that pointed this one out, I think in the anticipation video. And Peter Prinz was a guy, designer that I guess he's done something recently which I had not heard anything about, and it's a series of games, maybe some kind of escape room. I can't remember. I can actually look. I have him up on the phone. But the game that we played that we loved of his was Thebes or Jenseits von Theben, which was a game from 2004, and then Queen put it out in 2007 and also called it Thebes. We love Thebes. It's you're digging. Excavating, and the excavating mechanism is you're digging in a bag, and it's filled with like sand but other great things. It's really cool. Well, Comet turns out to be a really fantastic game. The other game, Crime Story is the other ones he's done. But yeah, it's really cool. It's a race game that you're trying to get from hatch eggs and then race them to a cave to protect them because the comet's coming and it's going to destroy everything around you for a little while. And that's upside down. And so it's really cool. There's all kinds of, part of the thing is just building up cool combos that will let you move further than you expect. You can leap over other players and stuff like that. It's really great. We've already filmed it for a game night. It'll be coming one of these days. Really cool. It's from Hook and Funtails. And it's exciting to see that he has a new game. We really, really love Thebes, so I'm very excited that it's out there. Anyway, what do we got next, Steven?
Well, wait. Can I jump back in real quick? Because there is one other game that I just thought of that I'm looking at in my camera that I played recently for the first time. Bloodstones. This is a new Martin Wallace game. And it's really cool. I haven't played my copy yet, but let me just show off because I'm doing the Lincoln and Eric thing of showing what I have. But there are all these different factions. So this is like a fantasy. This is a fantasy war game that uses like domino tiles. I think there are like 8 different factions. They all have these like nice cloth bags. And then when you look at these pieces, again, I haven't opened my own. I haven't like unboxed this, but it uses these domino kind of tile, like they feel like azul pieces, thin azul pieces. And it's like, they're almost like multi-use cards because you'll have a certain amount of them. And ultimately, it's like sort of like an area control game, but you're trying to build these cities on the board and you're scoring these cities, but other people are trying to capture your cities. And you get victory points by also winning battles against people. And it plays with 1 to 6 players. But the really cool thing is these tiles, besides the fact that they feel really good, they're multi-use. So I can play this tile as a unit. I could discard this tile to pay for another unit to put it out. I can use this tile to build a city. So you have all these like really cool like hand management, but like domino tile management decisions. It has different factions that are, I'll say, slightly asymmetric because, you know, a lot of people will have like cavalry, like no matter which faction you're playing. But then there's like, I was playing the dragon faction. And so I had a dragon tile that had a special, like a special ability. So you have all these special abilities. But the other cool thing is, it comes with 5 maps that are cloth, like these silk maps, and they're all different. So there are 5 different maps in here, and they have different terrain, really beautiful art. And they even give you in the game this like bag, so you can just kind of like take a map, take a couple factions, throw them on your back, and go play anywhere kind of thing. But I just really like that it's my kind of game, number one. It's very like, you know, I played a 4-player game, but I could see I might even like it more with 2, but I also want to try it with 6. Because we had a game where we had like a bunch of new players, so we were all turtling a bit and we're building up, and then it's like, okay, we got to start fighting each other. And we kind of learned that like that is one of the ways to get an edge up on victory points. So I will definitely play differently the next time I play it. But I just see so much variability. I love the production of this. And these, what are these called?
Who's the publisher?
People, but Wallace Design Games.
Yeah,
Martin Wallace is like
Martin's company.
Publishing himself.
Publishing company. Yeah. But like this faction, they like when they fight, if they survive, they create a zombie on the board. So like all the different factions, you know, while it's not like you're learning a complete new game, it's not like Root. It's not that asymmetrical. You're just like, let me see what my units are and what my special abilities are and make sure everybody knows. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and I'm excited about it, so I just wanted to share that one.
Oh, there's one other one we played too, which was... So, go ahead. Sorry, Stephen.
No, I just said that sounds really cool. I had not seen it. I had seen it when it was on the crowdfunding campaign, and those pieces, though, look amazing. They're like a backlight, you know, an acrylic style piece. Beautiful pieces. We
played Cthulhu Dark Providence, which is the redo of Study in Emerald, which I never played. I always wanted to play it, but it was like always sold out whenever... I think we bought a copy for the BGG library at one point in time, but I never had the opportunity. So Travis Chance came out to LA to do some stuff, and he developed that. He is a co-designer on that with Martin. And the new version is, I don't know compared to the old ones because I never played the old one, but the new version is really cool. And I'm very sad that he couldn't leave us a copy because both Nikki and I want to play it more. You know, the whole game we're like, we don't really know what we're doing, and we have secret roles, so we can't really ask questions because we'll lead into what our secret role is. So basically, we just kind of winged it. But Deborah really, really rocked the game, and it was fantastic. I really would love to play it more, and it really is neat.
I got to play it about 3 weeks ago with Travis as well. I did a little thing with him as also, and it's really a nice... I'll call it updated system to a Study in Emerald. A little bit less complicated, I guess, is basically the way to put it.
More power,
but really, really nice. Excuse me?
More power to some of the stuff too, because I was reading I looked at the old rules after playing it, and I was like, wow. They've done a lot to it.
The power system was upgraded to make it more interesting and robust. So I thought it was an excellent game.
And there is a single-player version of the game, which is interesting as well, because you have hidden roles in the regular game. They don't have that in the single-player game. But it really looks exciting. It's only on pre-order right now, and I think it's later this year that it will be released. But I'm looking to get one for sure. It's not very expensive, so he says, I'll get you a copy, but like I want the little minis. I'm a mini freak. And so I'll probably back it just to get the minis. But for each of the characters, I'm not even sure that they're necessary, but like, hey, minis. Anyway.
I want to try that too, because I did play A Study in Emerald once, and I forget, one of my friends put it on my radar because it has deck building, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yes,
I
yes.
love all sorts of games that use deck building in interesting ways. So someone put it on my radar, and I tracked down a copy of the second edition. I remember liking it, but I ended up selling it at some point. But
people liked the first edition more than the second edition. I don't know why. Steven, do you know? Was there better art or something like that?
There were some rules changes that people just did not agree with, I think, in the second edition. I had only played the first, so I still own the first. It's sitting over there. So I can't give you a comparison. But I know that this new one, which is not called A Study in Emerald, it's called
Dark Providence.
Cthulhu Dark Providence. Is excellent too. So it's definitely a worthy successor of that original system.
Cool. Well, Candice, do you have any war game news here? I see you're next in the outline here.
Not really. Yeah, I don't really have too many updates on that front at this point. No. Yeah,
it's early in the
part
year.
of it is and part of it is I was just recording a podcast episode which is dropping tomorrow, so I'm like run from this to that. So I'm not super prepared.
Excuses, Candice. Come on.
And Keyforge is blame Derek. Keyforge is just taking over my brain.
That's cool, though. I'm excited that you're really into it. It's neat. And Derek loves it. He's not made those overtures to me, but he probably knows that I just don't have the bandwidth for that kind of thing. But we have decks. We were given decks around the release that were like custom BGG named decks, right? And
cool.
I think they were terrible decks, but who knows? Maybe they're great. But we did put them in. I ended up buying those deck boxes that GameGeek did before we got sponsored. I think they were done with them before we got sponsored. So we have them somewhere hidden in those deck boxes, but I can't find them anymore because Candice was asking about them. Like, I have two, but I don't know.
Do you have any extra Keyforge?
Yeah.
I'm pretty set right now, though.
I think that the new ones for the Arkham Horror card game are similar. I don't know if they.
I got those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got those too. They look really cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Eric,
move on past me.
Okay, Eric, what do you got? New game announcements? I saw you have a lot of posts recently here.
Yes. I mean, it's weird because December used to be a down month where
Sure.
very little was announced. Everyone's just like, we already put everything on the market. Just go buy it for the holidays. We're not going to announce anything now because it'll be lost. Traditionally, publishers have, what I've heard from publishers is you announce something in December, you release something in December, and then January, people are just like, it's an old game. That's last year's game, whatever. And they're already done with it. And so it's not necessarily a great time to release stuff. But the announcements have certainly been coming. Stonemaier Games just announced Wormspan.
I saw that.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Connie Vogelman, which is using Wingspan mechanisms with Elizabeth Hargrave serving as developer on the game. And that'll be out, I think it's Q1, somewhere in Q1.
Neat.
So it's Wingspan, but with dragons.
It's going to sell 1 million copies. Like it's going to be incredible. Yeah. And what I really enjoyed the fact that people are putting out all these, call them memes, I guess. It's like cat span with cats on the box and shark span. So who knows? We might get lots of other span games coming out. But I'm certainly interested in a dragon-based version of Wingspan, and it's going to be a little heavier, is what I've heard.
Wow.
It's going to be, it's going to be Wingspan Plus. It's going to be inspired by Wingspan, but there's going to be a little more to it.
Neat.
Right. What else? Amigo, you were talking about Amigo earlier. They've announced a 30th anniversary edition for Six Nimmt by Wolfgang Kramer, a 20th anniversary edition of Saboteur by Friedrich Moyersong. Like, these games just sell continually. You keep having new editions, anniversary editions every 5 years. Just pulling people. I describe Six Nimmt as undoubtedly Kramer's best known game. No doubt. Among everything else. And they were like, well, what about El Grande? And what about Prince? It's like, no, that is not
best selling game
around the world.
Sure, yeah.
But I think best known. Like, if you ask most people most people
Five
in the
or
world.
6 Nimmt. Yeah.
Not the BGG audience, but just people who play
in the world.
games.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be a 6 Nimmt. And this edition has new variant cards that were created on the 25th anniversary by fans, and now they're incorporated into the game along with a cooperative variant from Cromer.
Wow.
So, yeah, and it's interesting to see those things roll on continually. I remember Frederick Moyerson would post sales records for Saboteur, and it just rose every year. Like, people in BGG land, they won't talk about it because it's just like, okay, I tried that. It's fine. Not for me or whatever. It's in the rotation somewhere. But, like, that's such a tiny portion of the world, of the gaming world compared to everybody. And so new people keep finding Saboteur all the time.
Oh, I see it recommended all the time on those kind of lists that are entryway kind of lists, you know?
Yeah, because it really appeals to people. You get to screw other people over. You can be mean, you create memories. So,
Okay.
True.
What else? There's Catan New Energies.
Yeah.
So a new standalone Catan game from Klaus Teuber that has Catan mechanisms, and you are now also trying to power your island, apparently, or power your part of the island, and you can do dirty energy or clean energy, and there's some pollution and whatnot. So same.
Yeah, it's they kind of, and we reported on this one too, that it's. They've updated it to make it 21st century, trying to do green energy in the system because you're going to be building plants. I think it looks very interesting. It looks like another game like Catan Plus. It's going to give you a little more, and it's going to be updated not to be whatever it is, Viking settlers, whatever Catan was, but now it's modern people doing things and building roads and homes and energy plants.
Although it was always pitched like Viking settlers on an empty place.
Yeah.
You're not displacing anyone. It's just some land.
Some random land.
Yeah. There's all of these are new additions so far. Like there's a Tiny Epic Game of Thrones. You're just like, it's a spin.
I'm actually excited about that.
That is the most insane, and I heard about this one too. It's the most insane concept. I love it. I think that is so cool. That one may be my most interested game that I've heard of everything we just talked about. It's like Tiny Epic.
Game of Thrones. I know. I've never played any of the Tiny Epic games, but I was like, okay, I'm getting this. I'm so curious about it.
It'll pull in a new audience just because of the theme. And it's age 18 plus, presumably for the subject matter. So if you play the game, do not eat the sausage.
Okay.
What else?
I don't know Game of Thrones, so.
Don't worry about it.
That's good.
Just
Nikki knows it all. I leave it to her.
That's right. You can tell her the advice, and she'll know.
Okay.
There's what is it? Ravensburger just announced Villainous Sugar and Spice.
Yeah.
So they're changing the Villainous line, where the expandalone games, instead of having 3 villains, only have 2 villains, so they can sell it cheaper. Not like 1/3 cheaper, but somewhat cheaper. And I can imagine as well. It's just like it's a $20 retail price now, and $20 is kind of like the don't think about it price. If you're in the store and you kind of like this, you're just like, sure, can't do this. Similar to King of Tokyo Origins, right? This is going to be a Target item coming out at the end of February. And so this has only 4 monsters. It's a 2 to 4 player game, unlike the original King of Tokyo, even though gameplay is the same as King of Tokyo, but it has some new cards. So it's like an introductory level where it's way cheaper than King of Tokyo. And ideally, you get people hooked, and then they buy the expansion monsters and King of Monster Island and King of New York and all the other sort of stuff. So it's like lower price, introductory level to get people through this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've seen, there's a number of publishers talking about just like the need for lower price and smaller game and just like do pickup items. What else? I got another new edition to show off here. Tokyo Highway Rainbow City. So this is a new edition of Tokyo Highway, somewhat different rules. It's got an expansion inside with different elements. And I can show. There's the
neat
box.
Very cool. Yeah, I like Tokyo City.
Tokyo Highway briefly had a period on the U.S. market from Asmodee distributing
Right.
it from Itten, and now they're doing their own thing. I believe. I think there's going to be a
Interesting.
crowdfunding campaign for this. This is a mock-up version.
Cool.
Was there something else I had? To talk about something that is not a spin-off, right? Because all of these are like brand extensions and this, that, and the other. And in a way, it's, of course, easier to talk about them in this sort of format because most people already have a hook or they've heard about
Sure,
the
they know
previous
it.
thing, and so now you're kind of expanding.
Right.
So there's a card game coming from Scorpion Mask by Silvano Sorrentino called Now. And it's sort of Six Nymphs-ish, in that each player has their own deck of numbered cards. You're going to reveal some target cards, and you are going to have a small hand where you can look at a card. Oh, so you got a hand of one card, and you can keep that, or you pass it and draw the next thing from your deck. So you have a variety of numbers throughout the entire range, but they're shuffled. You don't know what order they're coming in. Once everyone has settled on their card, they say now, and the last person, now. Okay, we have to do now. And then you're going to claim cards from the middle of the table based on the Price is Right system. How close are you without going over? And cards come in two colors, and your score at the end of the game is points in the highest color minus points in the lowest color. So there's the trick. You want all of one and none of the other, but it depends on what cards you have in what order, and the cards don't come back. So you can just go through your entire deck and end up with nothing, and then you're going to get garbage from the score pile that you have no control over. I don't know. It's real interesting simultaneous play. It's got the blind bidding of Six Nymph, but a little more control because you've got choice on what you're going to see. Do I want this now, or push my luck and get something else later? It was a really neat little system. Got to play a couple games at Spiel ahead of the release in 2024. And it goes up to, I think, 8 people
Wow.
playing at once and just like filtering through stuff, trying to get the right stuff. It was super fun. Random as hell, but a blast to play.
You also posted about Far Away is coming to the US, right?
Yes. Yeah, Panda
excited
Swords is
about
releasing Far Away in
Yeah.
March 2024. It's a super cool game where you're drafting cards. You play in 8 rounds. I put down 8 cards in order, and then I score them the reverse order. So ideally, I put down something with a scoring goal first, and then I get the resources to make that goal happen.
It's a brain
But,
burner.
yeah, you get bonuses depending on the order in which you play certain cards. They'll give you bonus cards that give you more resources, more ways to score. And so it's 8 rounds. You can play like 10 or 15 minutes. And it's pretty solitaire-ish, and yet I found it really engaging, where normally I hate solitaire-ish drafting games. So,
Yeah, that was the one that got away at Essen. I had a friend show it to me, and then I was like, I have to buy this game tomorrow. And it was sold out. And so I ended up getting it from Philibert, and I ordered like 3 copies so that like with the shipping, it only ended up being like about $25 a copy. And, you know, English rules are out there, so I have the French version, but I got it.
but you have to
I
sell
really
those
enjoy
other
it.
ones before.
Yeah, you got.
Oh,
give
that
them
was
away to
easy.
friends.
That was easy. I sold one to my friend Roberto, and he was going to PAX, so I was like, I'll bring it to PAX. And the other one I'm actually trading some Keyforge decks for.
Oh, wow.
Of course. Of course.
With
There
Jennifer Schlickburn Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Now
like,
you need
I got this game, and she's like, okay, I'll give you some old Keyforge decks because we never played them. So I was like, okay, cool.
That's a win.
Now you have to start importing the Pokemon Splendor game. You can.
Yeah,
make
I
a
want to
map
get that
of those
too.
as
I
well.
saw Chad Roberts was playing it, and I don't need it, but I'm like, I kind of got to get one. I think Scott bought one on eBay. I want to try to get one.
There you go. There should be a Korean gamer out there who is just like buying them all up in Korea
And selling them on
around the
eBay,
world.
Hey, Steven, do we have any industry news?
Well, I have some of the most self-serving news I can
Well,
possibly
one of them I hope
give to
you
you right here.
mention. Yeah.
The first one, which we will mention, is that my podcast, my now going into its 10th year podcast, Board Games Insider, is going to move to Powered by Board
BGG.
Game Geek.
Yeah.
which we're going to be now presenting it on. Yes, and the cat loves
The
it.
cat's
We're gonna be
excited.
It's going to be presented on Board Game Geek. So hopefully people out there who are listening to us right now and other people on the Geek, which it's obviously the largest board gaming site on the planet, will see it there on the front page when it posts and get into it. Because as what everyone knows that we do is we do industry news, right? We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in either our companies or our lives, and then we'll do the news, and then we take questions from our guild on Board Game Geek to unravel the onion, to show people how they can get into industry or how things in the industry happen. So that's Board Games Insider now, powered by Board Game Geek, and I think I've added a little work onto Candice, who I think I was told is going to be putting the link there on the front page. So Candice, I'll work with you on that.
Only if
after
you play
this, so.
Keyforge with me.
I absolutely will, and Wuthering, we're going to do that. And the other one is obviously quite self-serving. There's a new publisher in town. It's called Play to Z. And the thing that's going on here is that Zev Schlesinger, we talked about him, that he left WizKids. He was the original Z-Man Games. He created that in 2000 and ran that until he sold it. And then went over to WizKids for about 7 or so years. He left WizKids, and he has started a new company with several people, 15 people in total, in the
That's a gang,
gaming
not
industry. It is quite a bit.
It's a mob.
But here's the thing. It really is a one-man company. Zev is running the company the way he did one-man company, but there's 15 investors. And all the investors are specifically from the industry, from convention scene, other publishers in the past, like myself, media people. So we'll be helping to vet games a little bit and promote the company. So I'm not working. I'm not out of retirement. A lot of people have been saying, oh, Bonacor's not out of retirement. He's not. He's absolutely not out of retirement. He's just going to give guidance occasionally to his good buddy Zev, who he's known forever. And that's really serious. Zev runs the company. I just sit there and say, doing good. Make me money. Go do good. And bring out good games. So very, very excited about that. Our first game is going to be Ascending Empires, and that's going to be on Kickstarter in February. And that's the reprint of a game from about 10, 12 years ago that is out of print and bringing it back in a big deluxe edition. So check that out.
Well, cool.
We just talked about...
Along those lines, any word on Tales of the Arthurian Knights? Did Zev take that as well with him from WizKids? Because WizKids no longer lists that title as coming out in 2024. I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to say, but I will say that's not part of what Zev took. So I shouldn't say anything else that I may or may not know. Personally, I will say that I played Tales of the Arthurian Knights, and it's amazing. I played it while Zev had it at WizKids, and I've played it after that. So I would very much believe that it's still coming out. I don't know why it's not listed, but right.
I'm excited for that game. It's a great game.
From what I heard, it was very close to production, and then
anything more I would be giving inside knowledge that I'm not allowed to give away. I'm just going to let you know that sadly, maybe we are not going to be doing that game because it is good. It is excellent.
Cool.
Now we talked about epic. I'm sorry, Arthur.
No, I was just saying, I'm saying what I know. Like WizKids lists its calendar for what's coming out in the next year in board games. It has exactly one title. Because, of course, when Zev was doing it, it was like roughly a title a month. Roughly. Yes. That's Zev's style. At least.
For sure.
He'll be doing less with Play to Z. I'm telling you.
That's right. And, so people are wondering.
Yeah.
So good to know. I mean, why would it not find a home? Because
I enjoyed my playtesting of it. So we talked about Tiny Epic Game of Thrones a minute ago, but did you know that there's a game called Tiny Epic Crimes that was coming out? It was also a Kickstarter project by Gamelin. It was about to come and ship to backers, and the print run was stolen off the docks at Long Beach. Yeah. But as usual, as we found, criminals are not smart. all of a sudden there was these games showing up, in the secondary market. I don't remember if it was eBay
Facebook
or
Marketplace,
something.
I believe.
But all of us, but all of a sudden, so they just traced it back. Gamelin contacted the police. They found the guys. They got most of their games back. So
Wow.
I mean,
Crazy.
just like the theft of the Magic cards at Gen Con that we talked about. Criminals, A, don't commit crimes. It's bad. B, if you do, you're probably going to do it wrong and you're dumb because you're going to get caught. So there you go. Don't commit crimes. Don't get caught stealing board games because you can't sell them anyplace.
Yeah, especially a brand new game. Like, everybody's going to figure it out. Like, that one easily leads back to you. Magic, maybe you could get away with that one because it's been out forever. But let's not do a brand new game and steal everything, It's pretty insane.
Exactly. And the last thing I have is something in the much bigger media than what we are talking about here. These, little companies doing these little games. But Amazon has inked a deal to produce Warhammer 40K films and television show starring Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in all of them, but he's going to be in some of that stuff, yes.
Exactly. And I mean, how cool is that we go now to, we go to the big screen and the small screen with one of our things, right? A hobby game is now going to be on the screen, and they're going to be setting it in the 40K Warhammer universe. I don't believe that they had any timeline announced. The deal came out, was originally discussed a while ago,
right?
But then it was dropped in 2022, and now it seems to be moving ahead full steam. So
yeah, they actually have a deal.
Yeah, the deal is in place. The deal is in place.
There's also rumors there's going to be a fantasy stuff, Warhammer Fantasy, which would be exciting if they do that too. That
would be just as exciting. But any of these things are fantastic. As kind of mentioned, it's always a slow month, at the end of the year for industry news until everybody gears up. So we're just starting to hear about the new game releases. There's, I'm sure, going to be plenty of big news coming out in the future, but that's all I'll have for right now on the industry news side.
Well, cool. Well, that's the BGG show for January 2024. We'll be back theoretically next month. That is the plan. After we're done with this call, we're going to plan for next month's. I hope everybody had fun. I'm sorry we were away for a couple of months, but we were all busy, or generally busy. I was the least busy of the, I don't know, Eric might have been, no, he was busy. He was really busy. I was busy too, but not exterior stuff, actual BGG stuff. But we also had a wonderful holiday, so I hope you all did too as well. And let's hope for a good new year. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye everybody.
Bye-bye.
Kitty stole.
Oh, so cute.
That is awesome.